The Seven Years' War was a massive conflict that shook the world from 1756 to 1763. It was not just one war, but many wars fought across the globe. Nations battled for land, power, and riches. The fighting spread from Europe to North America, India, and even the seas between. This war changed the map of the world. It involved all the major powers of Europe. Britain and Prussia fought against France, Austria, Russia, and Spain. The war began in North America, where it was called the French and Indian War, but soon it grew much bigger. Millions of soldiers fought in this war, using muskets, cannons, and swords. Ships battled at sea and armies marched across continents. The war was fought in forests, on plains, and in cities. It was one of the first truly global conflicts in history. The 7 Years' War decided which countries would be the most powerful. It set the stage for future events like the American Revolution. The 7 Years' War didn't just happen overnight. It was the result of long-standing rivalries and a desire for more land and power. The main rivalry was between Britain and France. These two countries had been fighting for a long time. They both wanted to be the strongest nation in Europe and around the world. In North America, both Britain and France claimed the same lands. They wanted to control the fur trade and gain more territory. The Ohio River Valley was especially important. Both countries sent settlers and soldiers there, leading to clashes and growing tension. In Europe, Prussia, led by Frederick the Great, wanted to become more powerful. This worried other countries like Austria and Russia. They didn't want Prussia to get too strong, so they formed alliances to try and stop Prussia from growing. Colonial expansion was another big cause of the war. European countries were racing to build empires around the world. This competition for colonies led to conflicts in many parts of the globe. All these tensions finally boiled over in 1756, starting the 7 Years' War. The 7 Years' War involved many countries, but some played bigger roles than others. On one side were Great Britain and Prussia, known as the Anglo-Prussian Alliance. Britain was led by King George II and later King George III. William Pitt was an important British leader who helped guide the war effort. Prussia was led by King Frederick II, also known as Frederick the Great. He was a skilled military commander whose leadership was crucial in helping Prussia survive against powerful enemies. Britain and Prussia worked together, but they fought in different areas. Britain focused on naval battles and colonial conflicts, while Prussia fought in Europe. On the other side was the Bourbon-Habsburg alliance, including France, Austria, Russia, and Spain. France was led by King Louis XV and was Britain's main rival. Austria, led by Empress Maria Theresa, wanted to regain land lost to Prussia. Russia joined the war under Empress Elizabeth to limit Prussia's power. Spain entered the war later in 1761, ruled by King Charles III. Other countries like Sweden and Saxony also fought but played smaller roles. These alliances made the 7 Years' War a truly global conflict. The war's outcome would reshape the world's power dynamics. In Europe, the 7 Years' War saw many fierce battles. The fighting was mainly between Prussia and its enemies, Austria, France, and Russia. Many thought Prussia would be defeated quickly, but Frederick the Great proved to be a brilliant military leader. One of the most important battles was the Battle of Rossbach in 1757. Using clever tactics, Frederick surprised the enemy and won a great victory. The war went back and forth, with Prussia winning some battles but losing others. By the end, Prussia kept all its territory and emerged as a significant power. Section 5, North American Fronts, the French and Indian War. In North America, the 7 Years' War was known as the French and Indian War. The war began in 1754 when British and French colonists clashed in the Ohio River Valley. The war involved European soldiers, American colonists, and Native American tribes. Many Native Americans sided with the French. One of the most famous battles was the Battle of Quebec in 1759. British soldiers climbed steep cliffs at night to surprise the French. The British won, marking a turning point in the war. Section 6, Naval Warfare, Battles at Sea. The 7 Years' War wasn't just fought on land. Many important battles took place at sea. Britain had the strongest navy in the world. They used this to attack French colonies and trade routes. The British strategy was to use their navy to cut off French supplies and support. One of the most important naval battles was the Battle of Quiberon Bay in 1759. This battle took place off the coast of France. The British fleet, led by Admiral Hawke, attacked the French fleet in dangerous, stormy waters. The British won a great victory, stopping the French from invading Britain and helping the British control the seas. The British also used their navy to capture French colonies around the world, including valuable islands in the Caribbean. They took French trading posts in Africa and India. Naval power was crucial in North America too. The British used their ships to block French ports, making it hard for France to send supplies and soldiers to help their colonies. In 1760, the British Navy helped capture Montreal, the last major French city in Canada. By controlling the seas, Britain was able to win victories all around the world. Section 7. The War in India, a global conflict. The 7 Years' War wasn't just fought in Europe and North America, it also spread to India. Here, the British East India Company fought against the French East India Company. Both wanted to control trade in India and influence Indian rulers. The most important battle in India was the Battle of Plassey in 1757. Robert Clive led British forces against the Nawab of Bengal, who was supported by the French. The British won a surprising victory, giving the British East India Company control over Bengal. After Plassey, the British continued to expand their power in India, defeating French-supported Indian rulers in several battles. By 1761, the French had lost most of their influence in India. The war in India showed how the 7 Years' War was truly a global conflict. The wealth and resources the British gained in India helped them in other parts of the war. The British success in India was a big part of why they won the overall war. Section 8. The Treaty of Paris ending the war. After 7 years of fighting, the countries involved were tired and running out of money. They decided it was time to make peace. In 1763, they signed the Treaty of Paris. This treaty ended the 7 Years' War and changed the map of the world. France lost most of its colonies in North America to Britain. Spain gave Florida to Britain. Prussia kept Silesia, becoming a major power in Europe. The treaty was a big win for Britain, becoming the world's leading colonial power. Section 9. Long-term effects. A changed world order. The 7 Years' War had huge effects that lasted long after the fighting stopped. It changed the balance of power in Europe and around the world. Britain emerged as the world's strongest country with a vast empire stretching across North America and India. This made Britain very rich and powerful. France, on the other hand, was weakened by the war, losing most of their colonies and a lot of money. Many historians think the cost of the 7 Years' War contributed to the French Revolution, which happened about 25 years later. In North America, the war had big effects on the British colonies. The colonists had fought alongside British soldiers and gained military experience. They also felt more confident and independent, leading to the American Revolution. The war also changed things for Native Americans. With the French gone, they lost an ally against British expansion, making it harder for them to resist as more British settlers moved west. In India, the war started British rule that would last nearly 200 years. The 7 Years' War truly shaped the modern world. Its effects can still be seen today.